What's up, Black Desert Mobile fans? It's legit back with another video. This video I'm going to be talking about max camp benefits, what you should be crafting in your camp, what you should be making, what you shouldn't be making, what you should be focused on. I'm going to talk about seeds, what are the best seeds, as well as how to get your hands on contribution points and workers. That's a lot. If this is your first time on my channel, you are missing out. Make sure you check out the description down below for some additional badass Black Desert Mobile content. You won't be disappointed. With that being said, let's dive right in. First thing I'm going to talk about is what you should be crafting. There's three main things I craft in my camp at all times. The first thing is your Blackstones. I craft the armor Blackstones, and you want to craft the armor Blackstones over the weapon Blackstones because they cost the same amount, but the armor Blackstones have a higher value. They sell for more on the market, and you have 4 pieces of armor over 2 pieces of weapon. So you always want to be crafting your good armor Blackstones. After the update a week ago, they made it half the cost of everything, the resources and the food. So you definitely want to make sure you're doing that as much as possible. The second thing that I'm crafting in my camp at all times is, not at all times, but pretty often, is the Supreme Crystal chests. I do like to craft those for crystals to make, the yellow crystals. The more you get, the more chances you have. Typically, I make about 10 of those every 2 days, roughly, maybe 3 days, and I get maybe 1 to 2 yellows out of those. I do combine my crit, attack, and movement speed yellows into crystals again, so that way I can try to get orange crystals. I haven't had any luck, but I will continue to do that until I get all oranges. It's just going to be a forever going process with the crystals and with the Blackstones, always crafting those. The third thing that I always craft in my camp is outfits, armor and weapon outfits. You need these in order to get higher CP for your character. For example, my character does have the yellow weapon outfit, and this gives 18E plus 18 instead of the 5 plus 5. Now, you can buy these for, pay to win, but I'm a free-to-play player, so I got to get, as much out of my camp as I can, squeeze every CP as I can, and the weapon and armor outfits is huge. So this is adding another 26 CP over what I had previously, and it's not even the best one. That goes up to 25 after 25. So I'm going to continue to make weapons. I'm going to continue to get the outfit ones. I'm going to continue to get those until I get the higher level ones, because this is 18 out of 18, but if I was to get that at 25 out of 25, that's adding another 14 combat power. And then this one's still 5 out of 5. If I was to get that, let's say 20 out of 20, that's another 30 combat power. So you constantly want to be making your outfits, especially if you don't have the funds, if you don't have those outfits yet. You still want to be making them for when, your other characters or for when new characters come out. I don't recommend selling any of them. They're not worth selling for silver on the market. I do sometimes craft palettes as well, the standard palettes. Those are a good deal. Sometimes you can sell those on the market or just use them for your gear, your armor, your outfits if you want to look fancy. But those are sometimes a good deal to sell on the market for profits. I do also craft large HP potions. I do use those for node wars. I do craft, probably about 500 to 1,000 of those for node wars. Let's talk about buildings real quick. I do recommend getting some of these buildings to max level. Now, your refinery, guaranteed, you got to get that to max level 13. That way you do have higher chances of getting those grand Blackstones, as well as more opportunities of getting Blackstones if you haven't checked that often. The second thing is your blacksmith. I got my blacksmith to level 13, and at the moment it's completely useless to get it above plus 10. Until they come out with craftable orange or, decent gear to craft, it is utterly useless. I don't use my camp for anything. It costs a lot of resources that I could have used elsewhere. So if you don't have your blacksmith up there and you don't care about it at the moment, it's not a big deal. I'm sure down the road when they give us better craftable items in here, it might be better to level that up, but at the moment it's just not worth it. Your lodging, you definitely want all of your lodging leveled up to max levels, so that way you can have the max amount of workers. I do recommend getting your ranch to max level as well and using all sheep in there. Sheep have a higher food rate and they have a higher chance of dropping the golden wool. Golden wools can be sold for 500,000 silver each. I get about 2 to 4 of those from my 12 sheep per day. My monument, I did build the Monument of Vitality. That is the one that gives 50 stamina every day over the combat experience one and a life experience one. That is definitely the best choice in my opinion. And my relic, I do feed the relic as much relics as I can, as much as possible. I do focus on the LT and the drop rate one. The reason I focus on LT is because, you know, it doesn't matter how much drop rate you have if you're done carrying stuff after 20 minutes. And as free to play, we need as much LT as we can get. So I am going to continue to level those two up. All right, let's talk about workers. So the best worker to have for crafting stuff is dexterity. You want a lot of dexterity. So I have about 3, maybe 4 workers that are high on dexterity, and I constantly use those 3 workers to craft stuff. I have 1 strength worker that does my buildings, and then the rest of my workers are focused on vitality. And that's because vitality is better for farming. I do have mostly blues, pinks, and yellows. I do have like 1 or 2 greens left. But that is my workers. Now, there's a couple different things I want to talk about with workers because a lot of people have questions. To rename your worker, you just click on their avatar and then click the little magnifying glass, and you can rename your character by clicking the check mark there. You can delete the character by the worker by tapping that option right there. It does cost silver, and you do retrieve your contribution points back. Now, this worker is focused on vitality. I can promote this worker that does take contribution points, which I don't have at the moment, but that is something that I'm going to end up doing, is promoting these workers. You want your workers to be at max loyalty. If they're not at max loyalty, they'll give you problems and they won't go work, and it costs stamina on you. And to get them to max loyalty, you can either talk to them or you can give them a gift. I have stockpiled a lot of gifts here, and what I'm going to do with these gifts is level up some workers. So this worker is currently at level 26. There's a couple ways to level workers, and it's important to level the workers because as the level of the worker goes up, you get higher stats on those workers. Another way to increase the stats on your workers is through the passive by doing your knowledge. So make sure you do your knowledge. But in order to increase the level of your worker, the best way is on the node. I'm just going to be honest. They level the fastest on your node manager. The second way is just obviously by farming stuff, building stuff, and crafting stuff. The third way is by giving them gifts. You can give your workers gifts to make them happy, so increase their loyalty, and it also gives them experience, so it levels them up. You can see that this one right here gives 600 experience. So he just leveled to 26 or 27. He's also now at 100 loyalty. And now he's at 28. So I got him to 100 loyalty. Let's go ahead and do one more. Let's do Julius, who's at 31. So I stockpiled all these gifts to be able to feed them to power level workers to show you guys. You can get these gifts from in town, from the gift vendor, as well as from your node manager, as well as just from farming them. They do drop as you're farming. So that's why I got so many. I just stockpiled them. All right, so that's the workers you want to focus on. That's how you level up the workers. That's how you change your name. That's how you delete. How to get contribution points, which is vital for hiring and promoting workers. A couple different ways. You want to make sure you're constantly doing these camp quests that you get from inside your camp. They are the green circle exclamation points that pop up in here. You do want to make sure you grab those and do those as often as possible. They're offering 750 contribution when you complete them. The second way to get contribution is by creating an alt. Every time you create an alt, you do the full main storyline quest. You do get 80,000 contribution points, and I'm at level 39 right now, and it's 72,000 for another level. So if you leveled one alt, it would pretty much get you 1 level of contribution at the level I'm at right now. The third way of getting contribution is by doing the repeatable quests. So let's say you're farming Omar Lava or Rogue's Den or Kron Castle. You want to pick up that repeatable quest. It doesn't give you a ton, but it adds up because you do end up killing a lot of mobs throughout the day. It's 50 contribution points for each time. You could end up going to a lower level area as well. So you could go to Balanos and you could go to Mature Tree Spirit, Forest of Seclusion. You could go there, pick up the repeatable quest there. It takes maybe 30 seconds to kill the 50 mobs it wants you to kill. It is 50 contribution, but you could just sit there and spam that quest nonstop until you leveled up your contribution as well. So that is another way to level your contribution, and that is the most popular and all the ways to get contribution. All right, let's talk about seeds. There's 3 different types of seeds for each grade: white, green, blue, purple, and yellow. Each of these seeds cost a different amount. They're sold from different vendors, and they offer a different amount of food when they're planted. So the sunflower seed lasts for 20 hours, gives you 1,800 food. The fig seed lasts for 20 hours as well, but only gives you 743 food. And the paprika seed gives you 1,350 food for 20 hours. So the best seed, if you plant it for 20 hours, would be the sunflower seed. That is typically the one I plant the most because I don't have time to check my crops or garden as often as you could. Now, the catch here is as you go down, you actually get a higher value out of the seeds. So the purple seeds also have where they're 8 hours, but they have a different amount. So for example, the grape seed gives you 810 food for 8 hours. Now that's 1,620 for 16 hours plus another 405. So that's 2,000 and something food that you're getting over a 20-hour period, which is better than the sunflower seed. The blue seed, the hot pepper, is the best seed at giving you at 405, which is giving you about 2,600 food over a 20-hour period. The same thing holds true for the greens. If you could plant those in, and if you could sit in your camp and just plant seeds all day, you actually get like 4,000. You actually get like 4,000 food for the same seed that's planted over the course of 20 hours. So this barley seed, if you planted this once a minute for 20 hours, you would get about 5,000 food as opposed to the sunflower seed giving you 1,800 food. Just to give you guys an example, I still plant the sunflower seeds because I don't have time to check them. I don't have any food issues. I'm sitting at 62,000. I'm constantly crafting. I'm constantly building, and I'm constantly gathering stuff. So I don't have any issues with food, but that is the different variances in the seeds. You can find them in different areas. I know Valentine's the one that does sell the sunflower seeds. I typically go to him for the sunflower seeds. There is a couple different areas you can find them at as well. All right, gathering. What's the best to gather? So if you go to World Gathering, first of all, you want to have your skills to at least skilled level 5 so you can have the 16-hour slot unlocked if you plan on using that. Now, it's actually optimal to farm for 2 hours at a time as far as for resources because 36 times 8, which is 16 hours, gets you like 280, 290 of the same resources as you get for 252. The same holds true for 4 and 8 hours. They're better than 16. The 2 is the best, then 4, then 8, then 16. So if you could sit there and put your workers out, every hour, optimally the 2 hour is the best slot to farm, whether it's logging, foraging, or mining. I typically do 16 hours. Definitely, if you're going to sleep or something like that. Sometimes throughout the day, I will do an 8 hour or a 4 hour. It just depends on where I'm at with the day and what kind of time I have. But that is the best way to farm, is the smallest way. That covers everything in the camp. That covers what I do. That covers how I maximize my camp. I strongly recommend you guys going out and getting these things done. Making sure you're maximizing your craftables. As a free-to-play player, it's imperative you get a hold of those goodies. That's everything for this video. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If this video has helped you out, make sure you hit that like button. With that being said, I will see you next time.